maximum balls. Oh, fuck, get me out of here. Take me with you. Ah, fuck. You get it. I feel bad. Oh, what is this place? Am I dead? Is this hell? Not quite, kid. Welcome to New York. Remember 2016? Me neither. But people said that Overwatch was first released around that time, and that game is credited for ruining any chance that I may have had of a successful life. I mean, it was so influential that forget about all the other companies copying them. Even Blizzard themselves copied their own game in an act of digital terrorism that would make even the most transparent and honest of governments blush in pride. On the other hand, since Overwatch's inception, it itself has been called a clone many a times of another more obscure game, and I understand how this went under the radar given how niche of a title this is, but it's a game called, I believe, something like Team Fighting the Second? Remember 2009? I certainly don't, I wasn't even alive back then. But according to the sacred tomes that I found in my mother's attic, that's when the eldritch horror was summoned to the human realm. Or, when pronounced in human tongue, something along the lines of League of Legends? But the sacred tomes also made mention of an even more elder horror that preceded League of Legends, whose name in human tongue was apparently first translated by the great scholar Basunta to roughly say Dota. Now, are you putting the pieces together? Two of the most influential and genre-defining titles in modern gaming were both directly inspired by the games TF2 and Dota, both of which were created by Valve. You know, the guys who made Aperture Desk Job, and also a bunch of other stuff, I think, but like, this is the big one, alright? This is the big one. And, sir, a second big one might be about to hit the Tilted Towers, because Deadlock might just be, and I realize it's a controversial take, but I DM'd the guys in charge of Bring Back YouTube Dislike extension, and they said they'll personally change it for this video in particular to make it seem like it had a good ratio, so I think I can get away with saying this. I think Deadlock might just be better than Aperture Desk Job, fellas. So, what is Deadlock? Well, the short answer is, Deadlock is the 23rd agent to join the Valorant roster. She has access to a whole arsenal of high-tech nanowires to reel in her enemies and stop them dead in their tracks. She's also got the sonic detection traps, which are portable versions of the USWs the Serbian government keeps using on its protesters, and then vehemently denying having done so. Now, where does Deadlock rank in the tier list? D tier, D for Deadlock. She's dog shit, The USWs don't work, they only work on protesters, and all the Valorant cast are politically sterile conformists. They're conformists, they don't believe in anything, people, they don't believe in anything. And actually, Deadlock is S tier. She's my favorite agent. She builds the best walls, and no one builds walls like she does. The Chinese can never compete. Sage's wall is a joke. Everybody knows it. Everybody's saying it. They all know that Deadlock is the best Valve game. And basically, you're going around killing these little candle goobers, and when they die, you need to shoot their souls to slurp them up for brunch before the enemy shoot. Fuck! My favorite character is actually Chamber. Non seulement parce qu'il est français, je trouve ça marrant, but also because he's fly as hell, yo! There ain't a single other motherfucker in the goddamn roster who can even hold a candle. Guy who's carrying a Swiss flag actually heals you if you're nearby. This is a reference to Toblerone, the Swiss chocolate being the best thing to ever fucking exist. Oh my god, I love Toblerone. They should make an ad with Spider-Man and get Tobey Maguire and change his name to Tobey Maguire. Short for Toblerone Maguire, but it becomes like Tobey Maguire, like Toblerone Tobey. That would be funny, I think, but not as funny as when Mo and Krill decides to click on me and then... I just don't get it, dude. How is Shiv like the coolest motherfucker to ever exist? He's a monkey. Ooh, ooh, ah, ah. But then he hair and he voice.
Sometimes when I put these on people, they're like, oh no, what can I do? And it's like, nothing, mate. You're gonna blow up.
Bebop is banned from Arcane if he was found by Victor instead of Singed. And I'm talking about the original Victor, not the magical Jesus that they turned him into in Season 2. McGinnis is Heimerdinger from Arcane. If Heimerdinger was a League of Legends character and also a woman, which I don't think either of those are true. And Calico is Mel from Arcane if she was a fucking pussy-ass hoe. Get the fuck back here, coward! This is the single most expressive MOBA that's not even on the market right now. Every other MOBA, optimal strategy, build, meta item, kiting enemies, point and click, flash game, ass controls. Deadlock? You and me to my game. You and me with the game. I love moving! This game is like if Overwatch's roster played Titanfall 2 and was put in Summoner's Rift, and they were also actually written by writers who care. Look, all I'm gonna say is I don't see any other game roster having a sentient psychic sea anemone who built itself a humanoid body from ectoplasmic goo just so it can go to the surface and then summon the patrons who are these old guys, don't worry about the lore, just to protect his home in the seafloor of the Bermuda Triangle, okay? Like, I just don't see it. I just don't see a character like this in any other game. Maybe it's me, like maybe it exists and I just don't see it. Maybe that's just me, but personally that's just me, okay? I don't see it. And I admit, they're not all winners. I think Infernus is trying too hard to be cool and also has a degenerate playstyle. I think 7 is trying way too hard and also is tutorial mode. Pick up a real champ, guys. And I think Moe and Krill should be removed from the game, but they should keep Matt Mercer and he should voice the Candle minions. Valve, hire me, I'm cooking something here. Also a PSA, Dynamo is actually from New Zealand. Do not let the authorities fool you. And Great Talent is just Hanzo, but somehow more infuriating like fellas. It's not a contest. Not every shooter needs an old guy who uses a bow and arrow because they have discipline and wisdom or whatever. Okay, we don't need that. There's no demand for that. And also, Abrams is literally voiced by a professional wrestler, and it just works. Like, I don't even know. That's not a PSA. That's just insane. That's just insane facts. And Lash. I don't even play Lash, I'm be honest with you fellas. Mostly because his skill ceiling is daunting to me. And that's, I think, the real biggest issue with Deadlock that I'm pretty sure everyone who's played Deadlock agrees with me upon. The game is just so unforgiving to the new player. But think of it this way. If your game's biggest flaw boils down to a bad new player experience, and your game is in closed beta where there's basically gonna be no new players who don't already know the game somewhat because you need to get an invitation code personally from someone who has the game, you know, you need to go seek out the game, well then I'd say that shows that they got their priorities straight. Now, would I have personally rather not wanting to kill myself for the first 2 weeks I was playing this game? Yeah, maybe, probably, maybe, but I still kept going because I knew that every single person who talked about this game past that initial learning phase had nothing but glorious praise to give it. So in a way, this is actually a good problem to have. And I'm used to that, I could get used to this, yeah. And I'm used to that, but I could get used to this. Yamato no Ryuako, tanoshimi ni shite imasu. Look, I got over 100 hours in this game. And I don't know if it came through behind the 40 milligrams of Adderall running through my bloodstream right now, but I think it's pretty alright as far as video games go. But I mean, it's not recommendable. The game's not even close to being finished. My bet is we're gonna be looking at a release date in 2027, third fiscal quarter. That's a complete shot in the dark, but if it hits, it'll be crazy. And all I'll say is that if your friend group enjoys or has enjoyed games like any of the ones mentioned haphazardly throughout the video, and you're sick of every single new game that comes out in the field being a soulless cash grab, maybe consider getting a Deadlock invitation code from a Reddit post or something, alright? It might just be the novelty you're looking for. And not only is it free, there's literally no way you can even try to spend money on it, right? As it should be, but I feel like I need to specify in this day and age. And I didn't even mention most of the characters, like the Nepo baby and the Hispanic gargoyle that everyone online seems to have fallen in love with. What's up with that? What are we doing, fellas? But before I go, I'll just say one more thing. The entire game of Deadlock is set in New York, right? And yet, there's not a single rat in the goddamn game. Like, what are we doing, fellas? This game gets 3 normal people things out of a portrait of a blank slate because it's just nowhere near as thought out as its golden hour somewhere. I stole that bit from Funky, but I'm hedging my bets on a minimal audience overlap.
Now get out of here before I piss on you too.
What are you doing? I think there's been a mistake. Excuse me, I don't think this is where you're supposed to leave me. You're dropping me? Don't leave me here. You're just gonna leave me?